This is the 2015 E-Joe Koda, and they started out with this thing calling it the E-Joe 1. Quite a bit has changed about it, and that's a really good thing. Before, that's just the way the battery was set up and the way that the pedal assist responded. It just wasn't, didn't feel quite right. And again, it was sort of a prototype. They've been working towards something like this for a while. It's kind of a testament to how they do things at E-Joe. This is a more affordable electric bike, but one that is fairly feature rich. It's got a lot of different drive modes. It's actually got a throttle as well as pedal assist, 4 levels of pedal assist. Nice display, balanced weight, all of that. So let me just start off with the bicycle specs. One of the first things that I noticed was that they didn't skimp on durability here. This is an aluminum bash guard, and it sort of protects the chain. It keeps your pants from hitting it quite as much, and also it keeps the teeth safe if you run into a rock or a curb. This is sort of a hybrid type of city bike, right? So you can see the tires on this thing are, it's like 700 by 45C, which is, a little bit, it's more like a road diameter, but they're sort of slicks and a little bit wider than road, and that gives it some comfort when cruising over bumps and things. You can see there's also a little bit of a basic shock RST in the front here, neon PLS with a lockout, and that's always nice to have, but it's not super oversized. It's not adding a lot of weight to the bike. It keeps it kind of streamlined for that city look. You can see there's nice fenders on this to keep you dry with the mud flaps, and quick adjusts right there. You can mess with those with your fingers. You don't need a tool. And they've got a great rack in the back with a little bit of a side guard for use with panniers and stuff, as well as lights. Now the lights, they don't run off the main battery pack. You do have to charge your own batteries and kind of set those up yourself, but they work well enough, and in a lot of ways that's better than having to buy your own and fixing them to the handlebars. They don't get in your way in this case, and they keep this cockpit clean, which it is. You've got these nice ergo grips, Tektro brake levers. They're kind of the rubberized ones, so they're a little bit upgraded. They don't have the integrated bell here, but still, they do a good job, and they've got that electronic cutoff to the motor, so that keeps the bike a litof bit more responsive. You can see the breakout here for interacting with the display is also really cleanly integrated, and the throttle right there. So again, I love that it kind of has both modes. This really has a little bit of everything, and again, a really balanced frame. So the Koda has a 500-watt geared rear hub motor. And you can see it just blends right in with the cassette. It's not too wide, it's also not very heavy, and the gears give it enough torque to feel powerful and satisfying, but it's just not as heavy. You don't get regenerative braking or some of these other higher end features, but this bike retails for about $2,200. It's pretty good setup. And instead of using a cadence sensor like a lot of the older electric bikes do, that's like the plastic ring with the magnets, this one actually has a built-in bottom bracket torque sensor. That's this black piece right here, so it senses how hard you're pushing, kind of a strain gauge, and that's what activates the motor. It gives you sort of a peppier feel, like when you're pushing and you're actually wanting to go fast, the bike responds, and when you relax and you pedal more gently, the bike it also responds, and it relaxes. The upside is that feeling of responsiveness. The downside is that you have to actively pedal this bike in order to get it to go, unless you use the throttle, okay? And that's what's beautiful about this bike. It kind of has both modes, and that throttle is real easy to reach. It's one of my favorite throttles, actually. It's kind of out of the way, but it doesn't compromise your grip. You'll notice over here you have trigger shifter, 7 speeds. Kind of looking at this before, Shimano Acera cassette in the back. Nothing too fancy, but gets the job done. 7 speeds is decent. This is really, it's a solid around town bike with a neat configuration, and the battery is beautiful right there. 36 volt with lithium ion cells. Nice stuff. There is a power button that's a little finicky. These are all rubberized. They look pretty durable, but just you have to remember to turn this on here, then you can activate the bike again here and navigate through the 4 levels of assist. Right, all the way down to 0, which just turns this into a display panel, and you can still use the throttle, right? So that's awesome. A lot of bikes, it's just like one or the other. This one lets you do everything, and I love that. Anyway, the battery pack is fairly well integrated. That keeps weight on the bike really balanced and low to the ground. Although it does have a rear-mounted hub motor, then this is pretty light, and then keeping the battery up to the front keeps this bike relatively balanced for more of a budget city option. And check this out. You can charge on or off the bike. Right, there's the charging port, and there's a USB port, so you could charge your phone or something. Like if you had a little, bag right here, triangle bag or something, you could you could charge your phone right off the battery, and that's not going to drain your pack significantly at all, just due to the size of this versus a phone or something. So very impressed with this. I really like the setup and how feature rich it is. Yes, it only has mechanical disc brakes. Yes, they're only 160 millimeters, but at least it has them. It's not using rim brakes. That's going to be nice if you do decide to take this on a trail, and that shock's going to help smooth out the ride. So, you know, I think they've done a lot right here, and they've got a fairly good price point. And the LCD is really nice too. It shows your levels of assist, your speed, your trip distance, and then also the battery capacity. It's not quite as precise as if it was like, you know, 5 bars in there. It's just a few, but it still gets the point across. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop on this bike and you know, show you what it's like to ride a little bit and let you hear the motor. Start off in pedal assist mode, and you can see how responsive it is. So I'm in pedal assist level 3. Note that the fender is rubbing a little bit. We are on a demo bike here at Interbike, so sorry about the noise there. I'm gonna use the throttle now. It does have a 20 mile/hour top speed, pretty standard for electric bikes. Very nice setup overall. And I like the ergo grips. You know, there's little touches on the bike that just, they make it usable right out of the store, I guess. You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars refining this. So that's the E-Joe Koda, formerly the E-Joe 1, which never really made it. That was just sort of a pre-production. Pretty solid bike. For the full written review on this and others, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.